Okay, I like the intro.
It's really nice.
I like it very much. Okay, so welcome to Fundraising Confessions, the truth behind the profession. I am Rochelle Jerry. This is produced by Jerry Consulting Group. We are speaking to Stanley Dumornay, the Executive Director of Freetown Village. And the title of our episode is The Cost of Keeping History Alive, What It Takes to Fundraise for the Mission. So let's welcome Stanley. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Good, good. We're glad you're here. Our podcast is where nonprofit leaders, fundraisers, and donors spill the tea on what really goes down behind the scenes of the fundraising world. Like, what does it truly take to
Mm.
fuel your mission? And as a lifelong nonprofit champion, today we're talking about what it really takes. So, as we welcome Stanley, we're going to ask you a few questions and just sort of dive into the work that you're doing here locally in Indianapolis. Okay, so start us from the beginning, Stanley. What's your background and how
I'm
did
ready to
you?
spill the tea. Come on.
Yes, spill the tea. Tell us your background and how you made it to Freetown Village.
Okay, so my background educationally is engineering, oddly enough, and then ministry. I did ministry work for most of my professional life. That took me to New York, New Jersey, Haiti, where my family's from. I did missionary work there. Montreal, Canada, where I pursued an MBA in business administration to blend my ministry skills with business principles. And 2 years ago, I moved to Indianapolis, and that's how I ended up working as executive director of Freetown Village.
That's awesome. So, for the viewers who may not be familiar with Freetown Village, I am a
Mhm.
fan and enjoy the work that you
Yeah.
all do. But tell us what your mission is and what your role is in preserving Indiana's African American history.
Okay, so Freetown Village is a living history museum. Our focus is teaching the public about African American history, lives, arts, and culture right here in Indiana. The organization has been around for 42 years. And so it's quite an institution here in Indianapolis, has quite a legacy here. And as executive director of the organization, I took the baton a year and a half ago from Miss Ophelia Wellington, who's the
Yes,
founder
shout out to
of,
Miss
shout
Ophelia.
out to Miss
Yes.
Ophelia, who's the founder of Freetown Village. And so my role as executive director is to really provide strategic direction for the organization, moving us into our future selves and yeah, building more visibility, greater impact, and developing the kind of strategic plan that'll take us into the next 5 years and beyond.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us about leading the mission, right, with heart
Mhm.
and strategy, and some of the lessons you're learning as you're advocating for support for your
Right.
mission.
Yeah. And so, as you said, leading the mission with heart
Mhm.
and strategy, I think everything comes from your mission, right? The mission,
Mhm.
your mission is your why. Your mission is why you exist, and I believe that part of my work as executive director is to keep the mission top of mind in front of everyone, in front of our board members, in front of our staff, in front of our community partners, and in front of our funders. To the extent that we can get people to believe in the mission, then we'll be able to get all the resources that we need, right?
Mhm.
Funding, volunteers, opportunities to really fulfill our mission.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, as the executive director, how do you balance the dual responsibility of running the organization and raising the money to sustain it?
Right. So I don't think they are one and the same, but I think they are very interdependent. Again, as I
Mhm.
said, unless people really embark on the mission, it becomes more difficult to find the resources like funding that you need. So how do I balance that?
Yeah.
I think people give to what they believe in, And so, as a nonprofit, you go out there and you pitch your mission to potential funders, right? Because you need money to run the organization. And then you've got to go out there and do what you said you were going to do, right?
That's right.
You know this, and then
That's
you've
right.
got to go back and report to them and tell them what you've done. So you
Mhm.
ask for money, making a promise. That's your value proposition. You say, hey, give me this money, and I'm going to have this type of impact in the community. But then you got to go out there and do it, and then bring it back to the funders. So we take this very seriously, not to make a promise that we know we don't have the capacity to make. And I think
That's
that's
right.
very important because you can easily fall into the trap of chasing the money, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so on one hand, you have the mission. On the other hand, you have your programs, and you've got to
Right.
make sure that
Right.
there's a balance that you actually are able to deliver on the promises that you make, so you can get the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And so tell us, how does fundraising look like behind the scenes for Freetown Village, right? And I know you have, you say you have a living history museum. So I've seen some of the enactments in real life. How do
Mhm.
you support those programmatic activities and
So
engagements?
we deliver our mission through programs, as you
Mhm.
said. And so
Right.
we have our Freetown Village Singers, we have a conversation, a series at the Indiana Landmarks, we have our summer camp, we have interpreters and reenactors, character vignettes. We put plays together. And so behind on the back end, we try to get funding for our programs. And so we reach out to foundations, we work with a grant writer. So a big part of my time and energy is dedicated to finding
Mm-hmm.
funders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's prospecting and grant writing. And so we work with a
Mm-hmm.
grant writer to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We also focus on reaching out to the community so we can diversify our funding source so that we're not only dependent on grants.
Right.
And we try to get funding for our programs, but we also try to get funding for general operating support, which
Mm-hmm.
you know how difficult that is. And
Yeah.
so we're spinning many wheels all the time,
Yeah.
trying to write as many grants as possible, but
Mm-hmm.
grants that align with our mission. Again, so we're not just chasing after the dollar.
That's right.
We're also working to build an annual fund strategy and work on donor cultivation. We're obviously not experts at everything, so we get help.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
hire who we need to hire to in terms of consultants to get help for certain aspects of our fundraising.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And so when you think about that, I also like to debunk some myths, right? Because this
Hmm.
is
Sure.
fundraising confessions, right? So what's a
That's right.
myth
We're spilling the
about,
tea.
you were spilling the tea. So what's
Yeah.
a myth about nonprofit fundraising you wish more people understood?
So this is, again, in all humility, I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I've had
Mm-hmm.
lots of experience
Mm-hmm.
in fundraising, which is another way of saying asking people for money,
Right.
right? As a minister, as a missionary, and a very
Mission driver. You're
that's
connecting
right.
people
Exactly.
to,
Connecting people
right?
to the mission.
Yes.
So
Yes.
one of the biggest myths I think that's out there is that there is scarcity, that there's not
Mm-hmm.
enough money, and
Mm-hmm.
people are reluctant to give money. I was reading this
Mm-hmm.
article yesterday, in fact. Forbes put out a list earlier this year of the 400 richest people in America. So this is your
Mm-hmm.
top 1%.
Yeah.
And to make the list, you have to have a minimum wealth of $3.8 billion.
Mm.
And there are 500 people, Rochelle, who didn't make that list.
Yeah.
So 500 billionaires in America
Yeah.
who didn't make the list of the
Mm.
400 top richest people. So I think the money is out there. So the myth, I think, is to
Yeah.
think that there's not enough money, and to
Mm-hmm.
think that people don't want to give. To
Right.
me, my job as an executive director, as a mission driver, is
Mm-hmm.
to is to have a mission that is so appealing
Yeah.
that it resonates with people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And you have a fundraiser coming up, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
we have our 2025 annual gala fundraiser, Making a
Mhm.
Difference dinner on November 18th at the Madam Walker Legacy Center, 6 o'clock. We make it
Okay.
specifically on a Tuesday because we know
Yeah.
a lot of people are busy on the weekend, so people can go
Uh-huh.
ahead on our website and buy their ticket to support us. Yeah, and we're honoring four community leaders who have spent
Uh-huh.
time with our summer campers this past summer,
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
those are great leaders giving back to the community. So we're taking that time to honor them.
Oh, that's great. All right. And we can go to your website to learn more about your honorees
Absolutely.
and tables and tickets that are available for the gala.
Yep.
Well, that's great. Well, congratulations on your annual gala. I hope you all have lots of fun and raise funds to support your summer program. And
Yeah.
so, since we know that the annual gala is an interesting time where you also are raising money to support your programs and operations, you're also raising money to support your gala. So, can you give
Mhm.
us an example of when you may have faced a financial challenge and how you rallied the team or community to overcome it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question because you always have to be ready to pivot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have an example, not this year, but when I worked in Haiti. Would you like to
Mm.
hear that?
Oh, absolutely.
So, I was a missionary and I would do frequent trips to Haiti from New Jersey. And there was a school project in a very rural part of Haiti that was supported by an individual who worked for an international organization. Long story short, he supported the entire project. That was his principle. Whatever country he was in, he'd support the project, which was great. So he supported that school project for a few hundred children in rural Haiti. Well, what happened when he moved, and he took that support with him. He went
Mm.
and supported a project in a different country. And so the project lost all of their funding. So they came to me and said, "Hey, Stanley, what can you do?" It was quite a challenge because we wanted all these children to continue getting a quality education, right? Which could
Mm-hmm.
mean a very different life for them
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
rural Haiti. So I went back to my congregation in New Jersey and just made a passing announcement. Long story short, a gentleman came to me and said, "Hey, I'm really interested in what you shared about that school in Haiti." And I said, "You know what? I'm going there next month. Would you be willing to come with me?" So
Mm-hmm.
that gentleman, unbeknownst to me, was a very well to do
Yeah.
individual with a wide network of wealthy individuals. So he came to Haiti and his heart was touched by the project and the children. And so he has given tens of $1,000s over
Mm-hmm.
the last 20 years to support that project.
That's awesome.
And he's connected me to people who have made significant donations to that project.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great. And that project is still going.
And that project is still going.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. And so when you have experiences like that, like how do you decide your priorities? Is it individual, cultivation? Is it sponsorships? Is it grants or is it events? Right? How do you decide what is a priority for your time?
Yeah, well, I think as a principle, I look at the return on investment, right? There's so many
Mm-hmm.
grants out there we could pursue, but we have limited time and we have
Mm-hmm.
limited financial resources because it costs
Yeah,
to write a grant, right?
yeah, yes.
And so what helps me determine what to go after is really looking at one, does this grant align with our mission? How competitive is it? And what's our rate of success on it? And so that I have to make that calculus
Yeah,
before I can invest time and money in a grant. And in
yeah.
terms of the other sources of funding, I would say that we try to spend equal time
Mm-hmm.
on every fundraising revenue stream, if you will. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
not just about grant writing, but it's also about building that annual fund, as you know very well, Rochelle, and pursuing
Yeah.
the relationships with the donors, potential
Yeah.
donors.
Yeah, for sure. Um, because driving the mission takes several different vehicles,
That's
right? And
right.
conversations. So when
Hmm.
we are talking about aligning the fundraising with the mission and the storytelling and the community impact, let's dive in a little bit about Freetown Village and how you all tell your stories of heritage and resilience and just history. Like, how do you connect the dots on the storytelling and the fundraising?
Right, right, and so that's a great question. And so we what we do is storytelling. We tell the stories of African Americans in Indiana. And how do we connect that with fundraising? Well, in telling those stories, we aim not just to educate about the past, but we aim to strengthen communities
Mm-hmm.
because we believe that African American history is fundamentally American history. And unfortunately, it's a history that is fraught with pain and trauma, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
history that can tend to divide. And so, Freetown Village, we embrace the mission of reconciliation. We tell stories to provide healing and understanding, but we also tell those stories to bring opposites together because
Yeah,
it's the story that can help rally all of America together.
yeah,
And
for
and
sure.
and that's worth funding to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how do you measure success in that?
So that's a very difficult thing to do
Mm-hmm.
because obviously being in the arts and education, and so what do we
Mm-hmm.
try to gauge? We try to gauge the impact of our programs through
Mm-hmm.
attendance, through participation. So we give surveys, pre and post surveys on our programs, conversations series. We ask people to take a survey, but essentially, to be honest with you, it's something that I think we can do better, and we
Mm-hmm.
are looking into improving our metrics
Yeah.
because we are giving people information, but at the end of the day, our end game is to create a change in mindset and behavioral change, right? A change in
Mm-hmm.
attitude. You have for example, you have a young African American man who comes into our program. We want him to to leave with a stronger sense of dignity, a stronger sense of pride about his African American heritage, right? How do you measure that? Well,
Right.
it's not something you can measure just after one program. And so part of it is building that relationship with the community and continuing to follow up with individuals as they come and participate in our activities. So we have for summer camp, a summer camp is a good example because we've got children who've been coming to a summer camp for the last 5 years.
I love
And
that.
so, exactly, we're able to see the change and the transformation when they come in the first year or the first day, and you see them very timid, very shy. And then
Yeah.
at the end of the six
Yeah.
weeks, they're standing in front of that entire crowd of kids and families and
Mm-hmm.
talking about their experience, so
Mm-hmm.
so that's
Mm-hmm.
the measurable change
Mm-hmm.
that we target.
Yeah, that's good. And that speaks to how you engage the community in sustaining your programs and operations because I know how I feel when I see a program and you feel educated and empowered, right? But being
Hmm.
able to put that into words
Right,
to measure the success and not just dollars raised, but in the
right,
lives you've touched, right? Because you are preserving history, which
correct.
is very important. And so, what advice would you give to other executive directors that are struggling to align fundraising strategy with mission?
I would say, first of all, you've got to start with the mission and making sure that there's alignment internally about the mission.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
so that your board members are clear on your mission and
mhm,
support the mission. Your staff is clear on the mission. That everybody internally is aligned and supports the mission. I think that's the first thing.
Yeah.
And then everything that you do, from your programmatic to your fundraising, have to derive from the mission. And so again, as we go to funders, we're trying to sell them the mission. And implicitly, we're trying to convince them that, yeah, this is a great mission, but we are committed to that mission and we have the capacity to deliver on that mission. Because at the end of the day, from my ministry days, I believe people, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. People will
Mhm.
give. It's not, to me, fundraising is not asking for charity. We're not asking people to just have pity on us
That's
and
right.
give us charity.
Right.
It's an invitation to
Mhm.
participate in changing the community.
That's right.
And
That's
some
right.
people are not interested, then they're not your target anyway. But
That's
the
right.
people who want to have an impact, the people who want to change the community, if your
Mhm.
mission resonates with them and aligns
Yeah.
with their values and principles, then you're
Yes.
inviting them to a partnership. It's not just about giving money. You're inviting them to partner with you to
That's right.
change the community
That's right. That's right. And impact lives,
and
right?
impact lives.
To
That's
have
right.
the opportunity to feel joy that you are impacting lives,
That you're making a difference.
that you're making a difference. And history is, I think, at a critical moment in time. So anyone who can support you, I would highly recommend visiting your website. At what's the website, Stanley?
Freetownvillage.org
At freetownvillage.org is
or
the way.
freetown.org or
Freetown.
freetown.org. It'll lead
Okay.
you to the same website.
Okay. Freetown.org, to see how you can be a part of this living history, right?
Absolutely.
And so every leader, faces moments of discouragement. So what keeps you going and when things
Hmm.
get rough, and how do you care for yourself and
Hmm.
your team? Shout out to Miriam too. Hey,
That's
Miriam.
right. Our program
Hey,
director,
yes.
our
So
dedicated program director. No,
yeah. So
I
how
think
do you all keep it going when things
Well,
get
I
tough?
think that this type of it's this type of work is, as you know, is very challenging, and so
Mhm,
you've got to have good coping mechanisms and self care. So,
mhm,
personally, as a person of faith, I've got my routine. I start
mhm,
my day with I do my tai chi in the morning. I take my cold shower. I
mhm,
have my time of prayer and meditation and Bible study with my nice cup of coffee. My wife
mhm.
tried to tell me the other day that maybe coffee is not the best thing for me. I said, honey, I can't, please don't go there. I can't compromise on my cup of coffee in the morning. And so you gotta have your routine.
Yeah.
And I think, again, as a person of faith, I look at
Mhm.
every trial and challenge as also an opportunity. There are lessons to be learned, and
Yes.
there's a way to grow through this and being refined. And
Yeah.
so that's the framework that helps me.
Yeah. That's good. And so one thing, every fundraiser executive director can do to strengthen your fundraising pipeline. Like, what do you do to strengthen that pipeline for Freetown Village?
I personally believe in cultivation. I believe in meeting
Mhm,
people. So I think
mhm,
what I do best is I get out there. I get out
mhm.
there, I network, I rarely turn down an invitation.
Yeah.
Very rarely. I know, that I look at it as part of my job. I just go
Mhm.
and I meet people. Whatever
Yeah.
event I can get to and meet people and sit with people face to face. I love grabbing coffee or tea with
Mhm,
people.
mhm.
I think it's important to just put yourself out there and meet people and go with a posture of humility to learn, but
Yeah.
also with a posture to give.
Yeah.
It's got to be uh bi-directional. You're not just taking, but you're giving also. And so to me, I
Yeah.
think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Opportunity is out there, but you got to be there to see it and receive it and participate in it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so I know we mentioned supporting Freetown Village. You can visit your website. You have a gala coming up. Is there anything else you wanted to mention or promote for Freetown Village?
Well, my message to the thousands and tens of thousands of people out there listening to your podcast, to this interview, would be just come to our programs. And again,
Hmm.
I could say, well, make a donation, but we're looking for more than a donation. We're
Yeah.
looking for partners. And sometimes people don't have the means to give money right now, but they can volunteer, they can spread the word, they
Hmm.
can support. So, what I would say is, come to our programs, give us the social proof. Does this make sense? Does this resonate with you? Give us the feedback we need. And so I would say to everyone out there listening, come to a Freetown Village program, come check it out for yourself.
Yeah. And bring your families,
And
right?
yeah, exactly. We
Yeah.
have this Christmas play coming up actually,
Mm.
December 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Broadway United Methodist Church Theater.
Hmm.
uh, Freetown Village celebrates Christmas, an 1870 Christmas.
Oh,
Christmas, how the first African American settlers in Indiana celebrated Christmas. It's going to be a beautiful play. Just bring your family. Come see
yeah.
that.
That's great. That's amazing. Stanley,
Perfect
thank
Christmas
you.
present.
Yeah, I mean, what a great outing, right? A great
Hmm.
family outing. I appreciate that. As a fan of history, I appreciate and try to take my family to as much history as we can.
Right.
And so, thank you for sharing your story, your journey, your wisdom, your passion for Freetown Village. For our listeners, remember fundraising isn't just about raising money, it's about raising mission. And,
Absolutely.
thank you, Stanley. I appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you for having me, Rochelle, and thank you for the work that you're doing. That's so important. And you're a great advocate and partner, and appreciate your insight and all the support you've provided for me.
Absolutely. And I am Rochelle Jerry, your host of Fundraising Confessions, the truth behind the profession. You can find me on all your social media platforms at Consult with Jerry.